Hello, friends. Tina here again. I have another amazing quantum healing session to share with you. This time from a woman who came to us um, basically after, she's done a lot of work throughout her life and been through a hell of a lot. And she was kind of like wrapping things up and getting ready to finally exit here and return home. So she had a lot of like past life memories that kind of flooded to her out of nowhere. And these memories of these past lifetimes overwhelmed her emotionally. Excuse me for 1 second. They were overwhelming her and causing a lot of distress. And, she's had children in this lifetime and just been through a hell of a lot. So she came to us as a way to kind of sort things out, see what was going on, and have a quantum healing session of her own because she always felt like she wasn't really from here. Like a lot of us have this feeling. It's like the same thing over and over and over again that we hear. I don't belong here. Why am I here? Like those kinds of feelings. And so in this session, we see how she was stolen from her home by a dark force and forced into, and then her consciousness was then fractalized, like we saw in Sylvia's session, that the consciousness was fractalized and then sent into all of these different timelines. And so in this session, she sees lifetimes going all the way back to Babylon and all the way into the future, like AI civilization. And there's aspects of her consciousness that exist throughout all of these different timelines. So in this session, we retrieve all aspects of herself back into this physical vessel now so that she can be more whole and find herself be able to exit upon this ascension cycle because she feels like she has missed them in the past. So it was really beautiful because we actually landed, the first place we landed was in what she felt was home for her. So she got to feel that frequency again of what home feels like so that when she does exit the body this time, she'll have that connection, like she'll be connected to the frequency of home and be able to return there. So we start in what feels like home. We go through the different timelines where aspects of her consciousness are fractalized and sent across these different timelines. And then we retrieve all of those aspects. We do a little bit more work too. We see kind of how the Galactic Federation of Light and the Ashtar, Lord Ashtar, or Ashtar Command, it gets involved here too. For many years, she had a connection to them. And we see that they're just like these AI holograms. They're not even real. But what I feel like is happening, especially with this Ashtar entity, I think that, and this is just my opinion, from what we've seen so far, I feel like Ashtar and a lot of these demons, like that we used to know in ancient times as demons or um, entities and those kinds of things, I feel like they're taking on different forms now as our collective consciousness is evolving and starting to look, beyond what's happening here on Earth to the stars. I feel like these demons are now taking on like the form of galactic beings. So, for example, the being that calls himself Ashtar is in reality the demon Astaroth, what they used to call in ancient times the demon Astaroth. And then that demon Astaroth has had many manifestations of itself since then, including like Isis and Ishtar and things like that. And now I feel like it's again shifting into this new form of Ashtar, because people more so than dabbling in occult magic these days are looking to, channel star beings. So now they're taking on that form. And so when people begin to open up to these kind of new age practices, they can become very vulnerable to these demons that are now shifting into what looks like galactic beings, but they're really not. They're just demons in another form. And so people that are opening themselves up to this are very easily being manipulated and can create connections with these demons where, they hate our light. They hate our light. They have so much hatred within them for humanity that they will try to mess with you in any way that they can. And in this case, we see that they end up getting to her through her son, who was always a very, very sensitive child and person. And the thing is, though, he never did any shadow work. So that made him very vulnerable to this kind of manipulation and takeover. And so we see in this session that she's being targeted by these demons, these, what is calling themselves Ashtar Galactic Federation, being targeted by them through her son in an attempt to seek revenge on her for cutting off communication and not collaborating with them, because she is on a mission to free herself finally and release herself from all attachments to all of this nonsense here on Earth. And we can clearly see that throughout her session, how she's very much detaching and letting go. And I think this is an important step for all of us that wish to really exit from this reincarnation cycle, is to release ourselves from these kinds of attachments and let go. And what we see that I think is so beautiful in her session is that forgiveness is a really big part of that. And forgiveness does not mean, forgiveness is very misunderstood by people. And sometimes at the very mention of forgiveness, people tend to like freak out. But what forgiveness means in its genuine sense is that you're releasing yourself. You're not giving that other person a free pass. Forgiveness means that when you forgive someone, it means that you're releasing yourself from the hatred and anger that binds you to them, that creates that attachment to them. Because if you're still carrying the anger and hatred, that's an attachment. Whether you see it that way or not, that creates a connection, that creates an attachment to that person that abused you. And this includes entities too. So if you are still harboring any kind of hatred or even fear or anger towards another person that did you wrong or abused you in some way, that's going to create a bond and attachment to that person and is not going to fully allow you to free yourself from that person, and from the reincarnation trap. This is why it's so important that we process through all the trauma that we've been through so that we can come to that place where we're able to fully detach and let go. And that includes letting go of the anger and hatred too. And our client here, Rollande, in this session so beautifully demonstrates how the act of forgiveness allows for that release, allows for the healing to occur like instantaneously. When she was able to find forgiveness for the entities that did this to her, it was instantaneous healing and relief and release and freedom. So, yeah, this was such a really amazing session, as they all are. And I'm really thankful to, the handful of clients that allow us to share them, because I feel like I learn and gain so much from facilitating them. And I love to share them with you, because I know there's so much that you can gain from watching, even, your own healing. I know every session that I watch or facilitate, I receive healing in some way, shape, or form. So I don't think there's really anything else I have to say about this, except that I'm really grateful to Rollande for allowing us to share. I'm really grateful to her for trusting us, because going into a space like this can feel really vulnerable. So I'm really grateful to her for her trust, and her love. She's been so lovely to work with. And it's been amazing to witness her process. So, with that said, I hope you enjoy this too. I would love to hear if anything is sparked for you, any insights, any connections, any healing that might occur for you. I would love to hear from you in the comments. So please feel free to share your kind and respectful comments. And yeah, we'll get back to you. So I'll see you on the other side of this. Enjoy. Just tell me the very first things that you notice here.
I'm in the, I see the foliage like in a virgin forest, and it's after a rain, like the sun is shining on big leaves, and the smell of humidity in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's not the Amazon, but it feels like that. It's really virgin, and it's green everywhere, and it's tall trees. It's really big foliage, like giant trees, and like leaves that I kind of never saw before. It's really green and shiny. I don't see the sun, I feel it on. I see the reflection on those immense leaves. It's really healthy, really lively and healthy. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Oh.
So just standing here for a moment, taking a nice deep breath, inhaling the energy of this place, feeling it in your body, breathing it in. Feeling it spreading throughout your body. Anchoring more deeply into this place. Beginning to feel into your body. Do you have a body here?
I don't see my body. I see through my eyes, or I don't think that they are physical eyes. It's like through a lens of something. I don't see my body at all. I just see. That's all. My senses are awake though, because I really can smell that after rain smell on the leaves, and the warmth of the sun, but I don't see any physical body.
Hmm. So I'm wondering, what are you here if you don't have a physical body?
I'm like a memory. Oh, I'm shaking all over. I'm like a spark of something.
Hmm.
I can visualize everything, but it's not physical.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, I'm like a spark of something.
Hmm. Very good. And why is it important that we are in this place today? What is it that we need to know here?
That it is like the real home, it feels like home.
Hmm.
That's like, this is where I live, or where I belong.
Very
It
good.
does. It doesn't feel uh, foreign or strange. It's like natural.
Hmm. Is this place on Earth or somewhere else?
No, it's not on Earth.
It's not on Earth.
No, it's not on Earth.
Okay.
It's not the same uh, leaves or trees, or it's not the same space as it is on Earth. The uh, the smell and the feeling of the sun is, everything is more pronounced. Everything is more deep than it is on Earth.
Hmm. Very good. And how does it feel to be in this space?
Oh, it feels so good. It's like I just belong there. I feel I'm alone there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel, I only feel the nature. I don't feel animals either, or nobody. I just feel my presence there. That's all.
Hmm. What does this mean to you to be in this space?
It's like a lonesome feeling.
Hmm.
It's been so long that it's bringing back memories of some. It's a lonesome feeling of being apart, or haven't been here for so long, something like that.
Hmm. Tell me about the memories that you mentioned.
I just feel that it used to be me, or my surroundings. It used to be my home, that I, for some reasons, that I left.
Okay.
And like now it's like just a dip in those memories, or
Mm-hmm.
that time.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So really anchoring into this energy of home, feeling that energy of home in your body, breathing it in, remembering, drifting down deeper, deeper down. And let's move to the time where you were deciding to leave understanding more about that, drifting through time and space, finding out why you left this place, drifting through time, finding more information about why you left this place. And be there now. Tell me the very first thing that you notice.
I feel that I was, I don't know the word in English, arashi, like pulled, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I was like when they steal a child,
Mm-hmm.
while I feel like I was pulled that way violently,
Mm-hmm.
like it wasn't my choice and I didn't see it coming. That would be the main thing. I didn't see it coming. It went like from behind and it just pulled me violently.
Mm-hmm. Who is it? Who is it that is pulling you?
It's a force. It's not somebody. It's like it's dark. It's like a vacuum. It feels like a vacuum that's sucked me out of there.
So let's see where you go next as you're being sucked through this vacuum. Where is it taking you?
Oh, it's going down, 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 down. It's stuck. I don't have a body, but it feels it's stuck to my back.
Mm.
And it's just it even looked like a dark ghost, like when you see like a drape over somebody.
Mm-hmm.
While it's dark, like it's not white, it's dark. So I only see something floating, and that pull that like a vacuum, and I'm sucked in something, and that thing is stuck to me. Like I'm not falling alone; it's bringing me down.
What is this dark drape that is stuck to you? What is this? You will see and know clearly.
It's not alone. It's like a part of something, like the name would be a collective. It's like somebody that would have volunteered to do that to me, and then he's bringing me back down to that collective, which is waiting for me.
Okay. So let's go all the way. Let's go all the way down and see what this collective is.
It's so dark. It could look like a map. It's not defined. The pieces are not defined. It's like a mass, like a country, something like that. And it's so dark. It's there's no reflection. There's nothing I can say. It's only dark, 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 dark. And going down, I'm going down with them.
I want you to imagine that you have a flashlight and turn your flashlight on.
still dark, 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 dark. It feels almost that I've become a part of that. It's just like I don't see the vacuum anymore. It's like feels like I fell into them.
Mm-hmm.
With that flashlight, I see eyes everywhere.
Mm.
White, round eyes with a dot in the middle. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Who are these beings?
I hear archons.
Mm.
That's the first impression, and that's what I hear.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I feel it in my body.
Mm-hmm. Good. And why is it that they are pulling you down here through this vacuum?
They tried to steal me before,
Mm-hmm.
and it was they couldn't do it
Mm-hmm.
because like they were tricked, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they got me.
What is
somehow
what is the purpose of them stealing you?
because they hate my light.
They hate my light.
They hate my light.
Okay.
And the word hate is big.
Mm-hmm.
They hate my light. Well,
You mentioned that they were tricked. What did you mean by that?
well, they tried to steal me
Mm-hmm.
somehow, and I kind of guessed it, and I guess I hide or something.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get to me. I don't think that there was any body with me that got involved to save me, but I was kind of able to hide someplace or within something that they couldn't reach me.
Mm-hmm.
But now I wasn't on my guard because I was looking at the foliage and the sun,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't see them coming. They came from my back.
Mm-hmm. Where is it that they're taking you?
I don't know. It's can't see anything. It's dark, 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 dark. It's falling all the time.
Okay, so let's go through that darkness until you land somewhere.
Okay, I see like a spiral,
Mm-hmm.
like well, another vacuum, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spiral. It's could be a portal, but it's on my right, and it's really, 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 really turning fast, like a tornado.
Mm-hmm.
It's gray in color,
Mm-hmm.
and they did not come with me. They just pushed me in there.
They
So,
push.
yeah, I am in that portal or tunnel right now.
Okay. Let's go all the way through that portal and see where you land.
It's devastation. It's all burning. It's I don't know where it is. It's like it would be a city,
Mm-hmm.
and everything is burning to the ground. So everywhere I go, there's fire everywhere. Everything's burning.
What do you see as burning there? Are the buildings burning?
Yes, it is all kinds of buildings. I don't see people. I only see fire and fire and fire all around. And it's immense building, not too high, but long buildings.
Long buildings.
Yes, and I cannot see the form because the top is all burned. It's going down.
Okay. When you look at yourself, what do you look like here?
Again, and I don't have any physical body.
Okay.
It's just like I can feel
spark of awareness.
Yes, a spark of awareness. But I cannot smell, but I can see.
Okay. Do you still have that dark drape over you, or no?
No. He left me before he pitched me in the tunnel.
Okay. So, are there any other people or sparks of awareness around here in this place?
I don't see any.
Okay. How big is this space?
It's really big. Really, really big. I am not afraid. I know that I'm alone, but I'm not afraid. But it's despair, total despair. Like there's no way out. There's no way out. I can't go back. I can't go forward. I just contemplate whatever is there. Destruction, and I can feel must have been somebody there. I can feel the suffering and the pain of living things there before the fire.
Okay. So let's move forward a little bit and see what ends up happening to you. Just fast forwarding through time and space, drifting forward, moving forward. To the next most important day and time. Be there now and tell me what you notice.
Well, I see clouds, blue sky. I see it look like future cities. It's really it really looks AI. It's all like around dome buildings of some sort. It's not. It's like a futurist a lot, and again, it's only the spark checking that, but I don't see anybody. But there's no smoke or manufacturers, mostly buildings, glass buildings. Yeah, things like that. I don't see any trees. I don't see any nature or nothing. It's really futurist there.
Does this feel like the same place as the burning city or different?
I think it's different. Like this one is more like could be ancient or future, but it looks different. The other one looked ancient. like ancient cathedrals or places like that they used to have it. The other one where it was burning, it looked more ancient. Like this one is more futurist. There's a lot of domes, glass domes, but I don't see any trees. I don't see any poles. I'm high, so I don't see any cars, but I see those buildings, cold, really cold. It's like absent. There's no life in it. What I mean is, it's not homey. It's cold. That's what I see all around.
Okay.
It's big.
How did the buildings get here if there are no people?
They could be all inside. They could be because, okay, when I go in that feeling, I can feel that there's life, but they are living inside houses. So I don't know if the air is so toxic that they can go outside. That's my feeling, though, that they are not allowed to go outside because of the toxicity of the air. Okay. So the houses are made for that kind of life. And I feel that the families, for them, it's normal. So must have been there for quite a while.
Okay. So I want you to go up to one of these homes or buildings and look inside. Just choose one to look inside and tell me what the people look like here.
Well, it brought me to one of the domes. It's like it looks like a balloon. It's all like geometry, like a grid inside the dome. From the outside, you don't see that. You see glass, but if you look through the glass, you can see the grid. And when you look down, it's all like switches and light bulbs and technology. It's all techno, really, and I don't see any humans. I think it is robots, or I don't feel any life, physical life. But I see things working, so might be robots. That's what I feel.
Okay. Going inside the dome and see who's working in here.
Well, they are robots. I can see even dogs going in aisles, and it's all robot.
Okay.
It's like main brain of technology, or a lot of decisions are taken there. Like it's the main place to connect things, or
what kind of decisions are made here?
The decisions for that city.
Okay.
They make the decisions, like, and I don't feel that it is to help the people. Like, they decide what they want to happen. They control all those humans like puppets. So they are all watching in front of them different screens. They see those humans and they push like different buttons, and like I see two of them that were talking and then they started fighting. So I guess I feel that they programmed them to fight. So, and going all around, the size of that dome is unbelievable, and it's all the same thing. It's all robots, it's all screens in front of them. It's the same duplicate everywhere I look.
So who is doing the controlling of the humans? Is it the robots or somebody else?
I feel somebody else is sitting upstairs.
Okay.
It looks like a giant robot, and his hands are on each side, and he's got like different cords through his palm, and he's just playing with his fingers, and those cords move. So downstairs, like he's kind of floating. It seems like he's kind of floating over them. So when he does that, it's the robots moving and not the people. He's controlling the robots, and in return, the robots are controlling the people. And it feels like Asian people. It's not foreign like E.T. It looks like Asian people on Earth, I would say.
Okay. Very good. Okay, so it does feel like Earth.
In the future.
In the future.
Because of those humans, it could be Earth, because I don't feel that it is on another planet or galaxy, or because I feel that they are Asian. It could be Earth in the future. Okay. That's what it feels like.
Okay.
No greenery anywhere. It's not concrete everywhere, but it's like clay, dry clay, instead of lawns. There is no toys inside. I see children in this house though, but I don't see the toys outside.
Are there any animals here?
No, I don't see them. I don't see birds. I don't see trees. The sky is like, when I came in, it was like clouds, but like it's a maize color. It's all the same color. There's no, you don't see the sun, but you don't. It's like maize color all around. All around the firmament there.
And you can't see the sun?
No.
Okay.
No. It's like covered. Like I said, the sky is all the same color. It's like pale, like wheat, or a little bit lighter maybe.
Okay. What else do you notice in this place?
That I would not want to live there, for one thing. I don't see any manufacture or stores, or it's as if all is going on in those domes and the houses.
How do people eat here?
Yes, I guess, but It's, I don't know what they eat. They seem okay with that. Like I see this woman in the kitchen with her daughter and son. They are playing around, but for them it looks normal. So it might be like a couple of generation later. She's dressed with a skirt and a t-shirt, and like normal people. They are thin though. They're not big. I don't see any pets, but I see the kids happy, kind of happy. Her also, like normal for them.
I'm wondering how they get things that they need, like food or supplies. How do they get those things?
I see jars of pills on an island or someplace. It's not like the kitchen is really plain. Like you don't see any handles on the cupboards and that. It's plain. But I see like big jars of different pills. There's a lot of them. So I kind of feel that is what they are getting their nourishment from. I don't see. I don't even see a fridge.
What is inside those pills? What are they?
It looks like a powder. It's hard pills, like I don't know, a Tylenol. But inside it's like powder, but it's big pills. Some of them are long, some of them are round, and it's really big jars. So it says if it's their nourishment. So maybe there's different flavor. There's, I don't know what's in them. I don't know what's in them.
Okay. Anything else that you notice is important about this place?
I can see outside. It's like glass doors all around. But the view, there's nothing to see. You see the neighbor. It's got the same thing. Everybody. Like I don't see any rivers. I don't even see roads. There's no lawns. It's really, it's like a make-believe place. Like where people maybe would go outside, it would be like concrete. But it's all, everything is like the color of concrete. The houses, there's no colors there. It's all the same color. There's, like I said, there's no greenery, no trees, no animals, nobody walking outside. Everybody's living inside, and they are surrounded by those big domes filled with robots and computers.
Okay. Are these people living in individual homes? Are they apartments?
They seem to be individual homes.
Okay.
And the one in charge of the robots, I don't see him as a robot. He's not.
Okay. Tell me about him.
Well, he's like he looks like those draconians that you see sometimes in movies, or all the skin is scaled, and those teeth, and he's enormous, and he's got like a red cape on him, because those hands, there's 5 fingers each though, but there's like nails. It's most like nails of a grizzly. and then those cords, but it's not a robot. It's something living.
What color is he?
Like, I would say maybe camouflage. It's like dark green mixed with brown.
Okay.
And he's got that thing. It's not a cape even. It's like a red thing on his shoulders, like a wrap of something.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that's for him the mark of his superiority.
Okay.
And his like his feet is like those of a Bigfoot. It's not toes, but it's not like a hoof either. It's got 5 toes, and at the end, I don't know the name in English, but it's like grizzly's nails.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly
Okay.
that's dark and poof, ugly.
And he's in control of the robots.
Of all the robots, and he's sitting on a throne.
Okay.
He's gigantic, and his skin is all like scale.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a fish one.
Mm.
He's got like a crown, a golden crown, and he's bald, but he's got like a crown, and he's got those eyes split in the middle, yellow
Mm-hmm.
eyes.
Mm-hmm.
An ugly thing.
And where do you feel like this city is existing?
I would believe it could be on Earth.
Okay.
I feel that it could be the real AI that they are seducing people to go to, with all the gadgets and all that, because now they are completely under their control because they played with that all the time. And I can see in that house also, everything is computerized, everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's close this scene and rewind. Going back to the burning city and understanding how you got from that burning city into this one. How did you get from the burning city into the futuristic city?
I feel those are 2 different times.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the burning city is really, 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 really old.
Okay. Okay.
And the futurist city is the new one, the futurist.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel that they are the same, that like they rebuild after it was all burned. I don't feel that, because that one was could be the time of Babylon. It feels as ancient as that. It feels ancient.
Okay. All right. So let's move forward now to the next most important day and time that Roland needs to know and understand. Closing this out and moving forward in time and space to the next most important day and time that Roland needs to understand. Drifting down, floating down, drifting down. And be there now and tell me what you notice.
Okay, this time. it feels like almost the Garden of Eden. It's people with blonde hair, like really long hair. They are naked, but it's not sexual. It's natural, and yeah, they are smiling to each other. I see forest. I see like wheat, like the wind is blowing softly on the wheat, and it's you can see also the reflect of the sun. I see little animals like rabbits playing in the wheat field. I don't see any houses. It's mostly landscape. I see old trees like fig trees, or nothing seems to be going on there. It's just quiet and happy.
How many people do you notice here? Are there?
I see 3 ladies. They look young. They look maybe in their 30s. Just walking around and smiling. They don't talk. They did not notice me. They are smiling between them, and they are just walking in the field. And it's just like a visual. I don't feel that there's anything going on there.
Okay. Does this place feel familiar to you?
Yes, it does. Not like the first place that I went to, but yeah, it's like knowing of having been there before. I don't feel lonesome though, but it's just yeah, it's a beautiful place, peaceful.
Okay. Are there any males that live here?
I don't see them. I see only females.
Okay. What else is important about this space?
Not that much. It just feels good. It just feels good to be there. I don't know if I would enjoy it day after day. I'm so used to stir, but I'm not in awe. Like, it's just a beautiful place, but I'm not overwhelmed of a beauty, or it's just a beautiful common place that I once knew.
Good. So just taking a nice deep breath, breathing in that beautiful calming energy of that place, feeling it in your body, feeling it spreading throughout your body, this beautiful calming energy. Soaking all of that beautiful calming energy into the body, feeling it in your cells. And feeling that frequency of home. Anchoring yourself there. And while you're resting there, I'm going to check in with Karen and see what she's gotten so far.
I caught myself like in like seeing Rollande in like some kind of ship or something like that, floating in like the black space, like dark space or wherever she was. And then I followed along everything that she was talking about, how she fell into like this vacuum and as if like being sucked in there and then like this vortex like really pulling her deep in. It feels as if like wherever she was, it was as if like falling through I guess like how we see it, it's like, you know, when the soul comes into the matrix, it's like that abyss and then it comes into this dimension or whatever it is. Um when she was in the spinning space, I feel as if like I was able to see um I validate that, you know, the eyes that she was seeing, I feel like those eyes have followed her. After, the only thing that was different was that it was as if there was some kind of weird, I don't know if it, I don't want to call it an explosion, but it was like some kind of pulse, like a really, some kind of magnetic pulse. I think that's why she was also feeling like something was on her back, but it was like as if something was pulling her like in the electromagnetic field of the system. And so there was like some kind of pulse that also happened after like almost like a, let's say, a solar flash, or I don't know what to call it for lack of a better term, but something like that. And I feel that's when this like I guess like a splitting of her consciousness went everywhere, like across dimensions, across time, space, and whatnot. And I feel what I was feeling was because she couldn't see her body and what she was exploring. It's because it's her fractals that are everywhere observing different spaces. But when I was able to observe her observing, it's like I saw her light, her speck of light, or her soul part, and under it, or whatever, was a pair of eyes. So it's as if like when those whatever those beings were, what beings did you say they were again?
Like, archons.
Archons, yes. So the archons, it's like they're able. It's like they created like some kind of tracking device, like through these eyes, let's say, and they followed the fractals so that they can kind of like they're everywhere and they're able to pull information or whatever. And it's like as if, I don't know what it is. Like I was trying to understand, like, okay, what's the point? As if trying to pull from different dimensions or potentials of dimensions, and gathering information. And that's why they could implant it into the collective and then see where the collective uses the information. I was seeing, like when she was saying she was in Babylon, or she was seeing in like different things. Yeah, I saw like that huge time jump, like between wherever she was and then going into the future, like that. So much time in between, but existing now. And how they're inserting that, you know, like almost everybody's like worst nightmare coming to life, but they're inserting that into the collective. So like the anti-life particle, almost like bringing that really into the collective consciousness, so that they can create maybe that timeline of like, you know, under the control of in the dome, and you know, with robots and eating pills, like all those things. So there's a lot of the her fractalized parts, her soul parts, have these trackers, these eye trackers. So we have to like remove these eye trackers and then pull back her energy to, you know, to come back, because like she said, she couldn't see her body because it's not her body, it's her soul parts.
And so there's just soul fragments of her in these different places observing.
And just they're as if working for the system, but they're using her to her ability to, her consciousness to pull in info, but it's because there's devices attached to her.
Why do they need her to do that? Why can't they do that themselves?
They don't have the ability to. I feel like they needed some kind of what do you call it? Consciousness. It's a conscious awareness. Like they don't have that.
How exactly did you see that? What did you see visually?
Which part?
The part where you saw the splitting of consciousness and the
I saw this. I saw this like huge, like let's say sonic boom or something like that, and then it was as if her soul or whatever, like she said, had kind of split because it came down from a higher dimension, let's say, and coming down into this density, for example, and then so I was seeing what she was seeing, how she was getting pulled down and then like getting pulled by the electromagnetic field or whatever it was, and then sonic boom happens. She gets fractured as if like a broken mirror, and then kind of pushed everywhere, like as if her consciousness had gone through like different dimensions and time. So you could see them like almost like the splitting of time and space existing in, let's say, in the now. And with different outcomes or different like realities. And because like there was like so many of those eyes, it's as if the eyes had attached itself to the fractalized soul parts to, I guess, to track what's going on. What's going on in the different dimensions. So I do believe when she says she's been here for a long time, because she has memories of like things that have happened or that have not necessarily happened in our timeline, but have happened elsewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that feels important?
Yeah, the only thing that I really felt like now that I've seen this is that we have to remove those devices, or set the intention to remove all devices of all her parts and then call back her soul. So that to retrieve her from being used by the system and remove these trackers.
So calling back all aspects of her consciousness.
Yes.
From these spaces on Earth that they're observing.
Earth or whatever, this matrix.
Okay.
Because it goes up in the higher dimensions of this matrix, but it's still within the construct of the matrix.
Does that feel resonant to you, Rollande?
Yes, it does. And especially when I got sucked in, and you asked me why, and he said because they hated my light. So that's why they got me. But I really resonate with all that, and I really do feel that it's ancient times and different spaces. I don't feel it's really Earth. I feel it's mostly outside of our time in that, but in the grid, which is below 12D. So it has to be between that. And those eyes, I just wonder now, when I say that I report what's going on Earth, I don't know. If it's my real family of light.
Right.
I don't know. It kind of
Okay. So, all right. That was also one of your questions. Let me see. So let's drift and float back into that space where you were on the ship with these beings. So drifting and floating through time and space. Moving back into that memory, allowing that memory to come forward easily. And this time I want you to observe it as if you're that spark of awareness, just observing what is happening to you aboard that ship, who exactly these people are, seeing them in their true forms. So moving into that memory. Observing yourself aboard that ship. And be there now. And tell me what you notice.
Okay, I see it's all different windows, like arches, and there's beings sitting in front of that, and like on the desk they have I don't know what it is. It's not a screen. It looks like little round lights. They are just touching that, maybe like a screen, but it's not a screen. They are they almost look human. They are not. I don't feel them like in a disguise. Like I'm behind this guy now. He's got I don't know, a kind of adjusted jacket on. He's got long brown hair that goes in his back. And he's just playing with those lights there. Okay, so I look all around. The ship is immense. And there's something in the middle, like there's mostly all of them working on the same thing all around that ship in the middle.
I want you to find yourself on the ship. You will know exactly where you are. Find yourself.
Okay, I'm right there.
Okay, what do you notice that's happening to you? What's happening here?
Well, they kind of don't notice me. I'm just walking around and everybody's working peacefully. I'm just looking at whatever they're doing. It's not something that I know exactly what it is. I don't know what it is, but they are working on that. I'm just observing everybody. Nothing special.
What do you look like in this space?
I feel I am like maybe a supervisor, like just checking, doing like a turn, checking what they are doing, if it's okay, if it's all in alignment. I have looks like a white coat on, like a doctor or a nurse, something like that. I have long blonde hair. I'm about, well, I look maybe 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do. I kind of check their work. I go almost at every different point, and I just look at that. That's all. They don't seem to be nervous around me either. It's just that it's my job and they are doing their job. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like special about it or that comes out of the ordinary. It's just ordinary.
Mm-hmm. So
They're
I want you
just
to
plain.
good. I want you to walk up to one of these people and ask them who they are.
Okay. I hear a blue avian.
Okay. Blue
But
avian.
yes, but I don't know. It's just that I heard a video today, so I don't know if that, like they are Syrians, the blue avian, they are Syrians, like their skin is blue.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of look like Avatar.
Mm-hmm. Do the people on this ship have blue skin?
I can't see.
Okay.
And I look at them, but I cannot see. Like him is like doing the same job that I am. He might be my boss, and he's just looking at me and laughing. That's all. Like his nose is like, yeah, they look like Avatar. Like
Mm-hmm.
his nose is flat and larger, and they are beautiful.
Ask him what is the connection to Rollande.
He says that I'm one of them,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not more special than any one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just one of them. That's all for him.
Okay. Can he tell us about the purpose for Rollande being on Earth?
Mm. It seems that I volunteered to come here because we all knew what would happen, what was going on. And at first, he said that it was too dangerous. He didn't want to send anybody. He was just like teaching to the group what was going on Earth. And I volunteered. And he said that, okay, that meeting was not the purpose to send anybody. It was just to tell them what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems that I insisted. And he said, in that case, we will be watching over you, and you would give us, like you would be in the middle of, like it would not only be a story. I would be there to report to them exactly what was going on. And yeah, I volunteered for this book.
Well, if Rollande volunteered for this, then why does she remember being stolen and sucked into that vacuum?
He said that it was different time and space. Like they knew what happened to me,
Mm-hmm.
but it was long before that meeting. Like they were two different worlds, completely two different worlds. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm. So the meeting that happened that you were seeing, that meeting was before this lifetime of Rollande here and now?
Yes. Okay. And it a long time ago also. It's not like 50 years ago. It was quite a way back, because like he's saying that Earth was in such turmoil for such a long time. And it was like almost at the beginning that I volunteered because I thought that I could make a difference, or something like that. That I would be like the ground crew, sending them information from Earth that I don't know what they would do with that information. I think they would archive it or something like that, I feel.
Okay. What kind of information did you send back to them?
I think I want to know too much. So it's kind of blocked because I really want to go into it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see anything, Karen? Do you see what I see?
Yes, I see what you see. It's just that, like, when you're saying, like, trying to retrieve, I was just seeing, like, a lot of, what do you call it? Well, the way it's coming up to me, it's just like there's papers that are just blowing in the wind.
Okay. What did you mean by retrieve? Which part? When I was, like, sending them information, or?
Like what I'm seeing for the papers?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did that mean?
Oh, like just all the information that you've retrieved. But I feel like it's as if like it got lost. Like I don't know what, like lost in translation or lost in, I don't even know if they even got your information. I feel like there was a block like in the system, like preventing you from communicating, like
Yes.
like fully communicating. And it's like as if when you want to send the message, it gets blocked or it gets blown out of your, like, I think that's why I'm seeing it being blown everywhere. And it's not going anywhere.
What's creating this block?
I think it's here because of that magnetic pull or something. Like it's not permitting to leave. I don't know exactly. I'm trying to understand what that means.
Just both of you sinking deeper into that. Just relaxing down. Drifting down. Relaxing down. Drifting down. We're going to connect with the higher self now. Connecting with that highest part of you, Rollande. Connecting through the heart space. Feeling that connection. And I know that the higher self has all the answers to everything we want to know today. So I'm going to thank you for being here and start by asking, why was it important for us to see these scenes where Rollande was stolen from her home and then the burning city and the futurist city? Why was it important for us to see that today?
Because it's like parts of her that she cannot reach, that she feels is somewheres a part from her, and it's like a child or children that you lost all your life. You would search for them night and day everywhere, under every rocks if you have to. So it's something like that. It's like the soul cannot rest completely because all her babies are not back home with her. Like she is maternal a lot, and she feels like her babies are not home yet. She's waiting.
Okay. How many of these parts are missing?
It's not that there are many, it's just that they are big.
They're big.
Yeah, it's not only sparks, it's big pieces that was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's big pieces of who she is. Big pieces.
Tell me more about these big pieces and where are they?
It's really in different time and space. It's ancient. She's been going around and around trying to find them without ever being able to reach where they are, because she doesn't know really. In reality, she doesn't know. She just feels that it's really a big impact that took her large pieces of her soul, and she was in complete despair for eons, maybe.
So how can we help her retrieve these parts today? What do we need to do?
She has a lot of memories, but even if it's coming back to her, those memories, I guess it would be to be at peace with them, to forgive that whatever happened was not her fault, but was not their fault either, because they don't have the same spark, the same light. So they don't know what they are doing, really. They just illusion people and all that. That's all they know. And yeah, I believe it is forgiveness.
Yeah.
Which is really well hidden, because she thought she did.
What is it that she's still holding on to?
You mean from those parts?
You said that she thought she forgave, but she really didn't.
I guess it would be the darkness, like all the pain that she went through, and the despair, and all those feelings that are undescribable. Like she felt like rage and all that against them. But now I believe that she realizes that it was not their fault either, because they didn't know better, because they are not conscious, because they don't have that light. And instead of they made her feel that they hated her life, but I think it's the opposite. they just love their light. So that's why they followed her all the time.
Mm.
So I believe it is forgiveness
Mm-hmm.
for doing, like I said.
Okay. Is she able to find forgiveness for them now that she understands?
Yeah, I think she did.
Okay. And now that she's found forgiveness for them, is she able to retrieve all of her parts?
I think so. I see oh my God, I see it's like stars, like shooting stars.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Yeah, I see like shooting stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see shooting stars, but with the eyes under, like Mr. Potato Head, so I'm pulling those out.
Okay.
Oh, please. Do your job, Karen. And that resonated with me also, those eyes on me. I have felt that so often, so often.
Mm.
And
Okay.
even when I'm living here with my son,
Mm-hmm.
I saw those two eyes. I told him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So holding that intention, Roland, with the higher self to remove all those eyes from the soul fractals coming back into the body, clearing all that energy before it comes in. Making sure that only your pure conscious awareness is coming back into the body.
It feels to me that you're unable to exit out of here. You're kept here for so long because you're partial, like all your parts are everywhere. So I feel like calling them all back is going to help for you to get out. Because it's like these parts that were here were connected to those implants or those devices, those eye devices. And so it's like no matter, even if you were to, get as close as you could to the exit, your parts would still pull you down because they're still holding on to those, or they're attached to those things that are part of this matrix.
Right.
And could you remove them? Yeah.
The eyes, yeah. The eyes I could remove, no problem. I think it's like also that pull, that electromagnetic pull, like that the eyes are part of here. So it's like automatically keeping you pulled magnetically. So if we remove those implants and whatnot and call back your soul parts, I'm calling them all back and I'm seeing like this door. And so they're coming to the door, so they can't pass the door until I remove the implant.
Okay.
So I have a basket of eyes like here.
Use it.
So until I'm pulling them out, then they can go back to the door, and I'm seeing them coming into your field, and as if like we're healing them, like sending a lot of healing to the parts and removing unnecessary memories of their whatever they experienced out there that doesn't benefit you, and then integrating them into the whole.
Just holding the space for this to happen and for the integration to be easy and flawless.
Yeah, removing any trauma or anything like that was picked up on.
Is this all going on in my heart, or where is it going on?
Where do you feel it?
Mostly in my heart,
Mm-hmm.
like all around
Yeah.
here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's where your light is, right? So it would make sense
Mm,
that those parts would come back into the whole.
mm,
Yeah, it's like your divine spark
Mm-hmm.
coming back fully,
mm,
allowing for the light also as we accumulate your parts that are reintegrating to fill up your body. So you could feel more embodied.
mm.
Just growing that energy in your heart, Roland. Really feeling that.
Yes.
Okay, last piece is coming in now. I've taken the eyes and I've destroyed them all.
Okay. Thank you.
How are you feeling, Roland? How's
Oh,
your
I'm
heart?
feeling great. My heart, it's going this way.
Mm,
It's really light. I really
mm,
do feel a difference in the energy, and I can see the light. It's all going around.
beautiful. Keep expanding that light, spreading it throughout your entire body. All the way up to the top of your crown,
Mm.
down your shoulders and arms. Feeling that wellness spreading throughout your entire body. Moving it down through the torso all the way to your toes. Allowing that energy to take up space in your body. How does that feel?
Absolutely great. Wow.
Do you feel
Mm.
that all of your consciousness has returned to you now?
Yes, I believe.
Mm,
I believe I do.
beautiful.
Yeah, my whole body's light. Mm.
Very good. Asking the higher self, how will this integration help Roland moving forward in her life?
I did not understand the question.
How will the integration of all of her energy and consciousness, all of these parts that just came back in, how will this help her in moving forward in her life? How will her life be different?
Well, physically, I don't think that it would make any difference, but her main purpose in life
Mm-hmm.
is her spiritual path, which is 99% of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it is ascension. She feels that she missed it the last time, 26,000 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and this time she would do anything that she has to leave this place
Mm-hmm.
at last, at last.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why uh, different star seeds are coming into her life now to help her clean and elevate herself.
Very good. Is there anything else that she needs to do? Is there anything we can help her with today that she needs to heal, clear, or release in order to make the ascension this time?
The only thing that she would need, I believe, is checking all the overlays, because she feels that she has overlays on some of her chakras, like especially her third eye.
Okay.
And could be the crown, the throat, maybe.
Okay.
There was the heart, but I feel the heart is clean now.
Okay.
She is scared to awake that serpent down there, so that would be she would appreciate if he would leave right now. So she doesn't feel her second and third is blocked, and like it's mostly like a spiral that she doesn't see her chakra like round. She sees mostly like a spiral of different colors moving along, but she does feel like overlays on them, because the first time that she heard it, it resonated in her body, in all of her cells. So that has to be important.
Okay. Well, I will let Karen take care of that Kundalini energy, and you and I are going to walk through scanning the body. So I want you to start at the top of your crown, bringing your awareness to the top of your crown, and tell me what it is that you feel there.
Well, I do meditations every day, always the same meditation. So I'm always going deeper in the same meditations. I don't want to go from one to the other. I want to go have one and go deeper. And I kind of feel like there's, I wouldn't say a grid, but it's squares of something over it. Sometimes there's a crack. She can feel that it's opening, but I'm still talking like it's the higher self. So it's like I don't know, a film. I would say maybe not. Maybe like a grid. Something was. Oh, I feel something.
What does the film feel like?
Well, I believe that is what blocked me from reporting what I was supposed to be doing. When I volunteered to come here, something was blocked and the contact was cut. So I could not reach them. They could not reach me. So I feel it's deeply grounded in there, and it's almost transparent. It's like sneaky because it didn't show just looking at it. When I go deeper, I see it. So it's like like a grid that I would say, checkered thing.
I have a note about that. There's a, like the communication thing that you're supposed to have with your crew or your family or whatever. I feel upon the explosion or that boom that made you split, it's as if like the part that held that communication part was sent onto the ship of the GFL. I think that's why they were able to communicate with you. It's as if they were taking the information.
Oh, those fuckers. Could be those eyes.
Yeah, they could be part of those eyes, because it felt like Ashtar like energy or whatever in that, like, because they're from the same system. So I mean,
yes, they are.
It, like
Wow, it's just that they copied because they are holograms. because they don't have that spark. So they copy from the prime creator. They copy the same thing, and they are intelligent. They are the AI. So,
yeah. Okay. But that part has been called back.
Yes, everything's called back. I just wanted to take note of like why the communication was severed. I was able to put it together.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
Okay, very good. So, Roland, I want you to go ahead and just imagine that you're pulling off of that film, pulling that off of your crown.
My God, it tries to hang on, doesn't it? It's like sticky stuff, slime. It just oh geez, well, it's going though.
Just keep pulling it out. You can make a fire next to you. Just throw it in the fire.
Oh, they do not like me. It's all green. Okay, I can feel my crown right now. It's all green and it's slimy stuff. And those square, it ends up like being like grips. It's not like paper. It's like grips that tries to hang on, but I'm still pulling.
Okay.
Bear with me.
Yeah, take your time. Just keep pulling it off.
Kundalini is complete.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You look like a curled up Cinnabon.
I'm not done yet. Can you help me with that, Karen?
Yeah. Pull it out and I'll vacuum.
Okay. There's only the center now. There.
Got it?
I believe it's all gone. My God, I'm bald. There's nothing there. There's nothing there anymore. I can see my brain. Wow. Okay.
Good. How does it feel?
Wow. Thank you. Well, it's kind of cold. No. It feels like square. It feels funny. It's I don't know. It feels like empty.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, they take up a lot of space.
I guess so. It's like
good.
Oh, I will get used to it though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. So, who was it that put this on your crown?
I believe the same ones.
Okay.
The archons, it's from the beginning, so it has to be GFL.
Okay.
It has to be GFL and Ashtar.
Okay.
That rings a bell. I haven't thought of them the whole night, but now it does. Yep.
Very good. Good work. So I want you to now tune into your third eye. Tuning into that space and tell me what it feels like there.
I see a little round. Could be like, well, could be a sun, but there's different what is that? It looks like arms this way, going this way, and what do you call those long nails?
Like claws?
Claws.
Comme des
Mm.
griffes? Des griffes?
Oui, yeah, it looks
Okay.
like griffes. Okay, the claws. Okay, it's like muscle. I see muscle. Yeah, it's like muscle with. I don't know what it is.
Okay. So you see arms that are crossing over top of it?
Yeah, it's like dark. Do you see anything, Karen?
I'm seeing like that. What it looks like to me, like like there's I don't know. It looks metallic to me, but it's like a circular thing that's on top of it, and it looks like it's like a cover. I don't know what it is.
Like an implant or.
Yeah, exactly. Like a cover that's covering the whole, like the thing.
Hmm. So imagine that you're reaching in there and pulling that off, Roland. You have dominion over your body and energy system. No one has the right to place implants.
Mm-hmm.
So you also have dominion to remove them.
Yeah, like it's like a square thing that is bolted. Looks like bolted,
Mm-hmm.
like a screen or something that is bolted.
You can use a screwdriver to unscrew them, or a wrench, whatever you need.
Here, I'm bringing a DeWalt power tool.
Power tool, the deluxe one. It's heavy. Whoa.
Yeah, it's like really heavy.
Yeah, it's like steel or. Yeah, I believe it is removed now. I put it in fire,
Very good.
melted.
Very good. Just scanning through that area again, making sure it's nice and open.
I feel it is. Do you feel it, Karen?
Yes, I was just like clearing around, just making sure there's nothing, like observing if there's any fail safe or anything like that after we do the cleanup. So it's okay. It's good.
Okay.
All right. Now feeling into your throat.
They are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I see like two eyes, bulging eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and a slimy body.
Mm.
Nice.
It must be yummy. So
And a treat.
oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, it's right there. Two big bulging eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing's got rings around it. Woo! Like a worm.
Okay.
Tell me you're not seeing this, Karen. Please.
It looks like what do you call it? Shoot. It's one of those like funny character looking things in Madagascar, the movie. It's a kids movie.
Mm.
Almost very alien like.
Yes, it
looking.
is. It does look alien. It does.
What is its purpose here?
Well, it's got eyes to check me again, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, it's to block the truth or to block something.
Yeah.
The purpose is to cut off the not the conversation, but cut off the truth, or
to steal your voice, like your real voice.
Yeah, the purpose, or
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also a creative, because you know the way that we express our creativity is through voice too. So it's another way to take your energy power.
Okay.
And it mimics my throat. You really have to look for it because you wouldn't see it. It's like they say sometimes. Yes, it does. And like they say sometimes, you have that solitaire worm inside of you, something like that. Well, it's the same thing. You have to look closer to see it because it mimics the throat. Yuck.
Okay. Well, go ahead and pull this being out.
I'm pulling him from the eyes. I have a good grip.
You can throw them into the fire and transmute them back to source energy.
My God, it's all coiled.
Yeah, it's probably been there for a while.
Yes, I don't know how long it is. It's coming out. Okay, I believe it's out now.
Okay, very good. How does your throat feel now?
Well, it feels like scratchy.
Scratchy?
Yeah, right here. Like when you're about to have a cold?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just vacuuming out any residual energy that it left behind. Clearing that.
You're with me, Karen, are you?
Oh yeah, don't worry. I have all my products.
And then when that's done being cleared, you can fill in that space with some nice healing energy. What color would you like to use?
Blue.
Blue. Good. Allowing that blue energy to fill the throat, healing all of those spaces where this little being was taking up. And spreading that up into the third eye and crown too, if you feel called. Healing all those spaces.
Yeah, beautiful.
How does it feel now?
Oh, beautiful. Really calm. Beautiful.
Good. Very good. Does anyone have to go to the bathroom?
I would.
Okay. Bringing your awareness again into the body. Asking for the body to show us any other areas that need attention or healing. So paying attention to any sensations that arise. Scanning through the body. Noticing any pain, stress, numbness, tingling, any visuals.
I have pain in my left arm, but it's I went to see a psychotherapist, and she told me it was viral. So I'm putting TENS on it. It's going away, but She said that so many people has that, and it's viral. It's something that I caught someplace. I had something underneath my rib cage 2 or 3 years ago. It feels like a balloon.
Okay.
Sometimes I do feel it, but it did not amount to anything. So I kind of forgot it.
Okay.
I don't feel that there's anything there. So
You don't feel that now?
sometimes I do, but
Sometimes.
it's not. Yeah, sometimes, but it's no, it's nothing. I don't feel it's anything.
Okay. Any other areas of the body that call your attention?
Well, this week I went to see an homeopath, and she told me that in my back, in the middle of my back, she said that there's a disc or something. She said one of these days you will just stretch and you will snap your back. I said, I don't have any problem. And she said, it's really this way. It is supposed to be that way. So I don't know what happened there. She said it's only a matter of time since I feel that. I don't know
what is it? What did she say it was?
Well, she said it's a disc that is
disc.
not. Yeah.
Okay. So let's bring your awareness into that disc. Bringing your awareness into that disc. Noticing what it feels like. Noticing the sensations.
Don't feel anything.
You don't feel anything. Karen, do you notice anything?
I was just putting my hand on the area and just seeing. I did feel something that was a little bit loose, but it's like I just set like an intention to tighten it.
Okay.
So I'm just tightening it so it's not going to be loosey-goosey. I don't know.
You don't notice anything being stored there, implants, anything like that?
I don't get stored there. I don't get implants. I don't get emulsions. I don't get
trauma.
No, not even.
Okay.
And you mean my spine?
Wherever the disc was, like I'm just tightening
the middle. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just tightening it so that it's not protruding or coming out, or like I'm setting that intention of the body putting it where it needs to be.
Okay.
So that it's not opposite direction that she said, let's say. But I did feel something loose.
Okay.
But it's not, like you said, like you're not feeling it, but we're going to help to tighten it so that it won't move. Like so.
Okay, I feel it now.
Now you feel it?
I feel it now. It's like in the middle of my back. Like what she has, it's the quantum healing from Tesla.
Oh.
So she puts like something on your wrist and your forehead and your feet, and then it's like a screen, and she sees everything that's going on in your body, lack of vitamins, whatever was going on. She sees everything, the shedding, everything. Do you feel anything underneath my rib, right rib, Karen?
I was seeing like some kind of, not a balloon, but it felt like a bit of like an energy that moves. Like maybe like maybe a maximum level 2 entity.
Okay.
It moves.
You mean it moves around the body?
Yeah. it moves around.
How did it get here?
And I'm scanning. I feel like it itself is also used as some kind of tracker. That's why it comes in to check in and then it comes out. Like it doesn't.
Okay.
I'm just checking to see if there's any portals in our body. Or like how exactly does it operate that way? But it feels, yeah, like almost like a hologram or and when she feels it, it's like as if the body's alerting her that there's like a foreign entity in the body and then it moves, it goes away. So it's just kind of checking. What I see is that it opens up like a balloon almost, and then it's like it scans the body top to bottom and then it closes and goes.
What is it scanning for?
I feel what it feels like as if it's trying to gain information like via cellular memory of the body and also the energetic and emotional body. Whatever what it's experiencing. So it's able to download information that whatever experience she had that ends up sticking in her body, like when whatever the body takes score of, or emotional stuff or whatever is pertinent. I don't know. Yeah.
So you're clearing that?
Yeah, I'm setting intention of like clearing that. But yeah, it feels like a very like a hidden and what do you call it? A hidden contract. So I'm burning the contract. Cutting any cords attached to it too.
Who's the contract with?
It also feels like relative to the same source, like so back to like GFL or those archons, like that energy.
Okay. So connecting.
Sorry. I feel also like when she kind of like was, cutting ties with them that they had, because it was easier access when they were contacting her that way. But when she cut contact, that's when they started to place like that tracker in the body.
Okay.
And it's really well hidden because it's underneath the rib cage.
Yeah.
They send me for a scan. They send me for X-ray. They didn't see anything. I said, I'm not crazy. I know it's there. I feel it sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
So that really makes sense.
Yeah, it opens and it contracts and then it closes, like it closes and leaves, like it's not there.
Is there a portal that it comes through?
I feel like it was coming through via the contract. So we removed the contract so it has no access anymore to come in and also cut the cord. But yeah, it's gone.
Okay. Good. Okay. So connecting fully with the higher self again and understanding why it has been that Rollande seems to be surrounded by entities and demons.
Again, it's because they see her light. They hate it, but they are attracted to light because they don't have it.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any entities or demons attached to Rollande right now?
You're talking to me? I don't know. She never did feel that she has it. She saw some. She saw one beside beside her bed, and she felt there was a demon in her house that she had cleaned out and all that, but she never felt that she had any inside of her.
Okay. So something she wants to know is there a demon inside of her son, Raphael?
It's just that he was an empath.
Mm-hmm.
He was very, very spiritual all his life. He was a calm, thoughtful, loving son and all that. And what I feel is the energy is really, really strong now. So he's like a sponge. He feels everybody. He was 5 years old and he could tell if somebody was telling a lie or didn't love him or whatever. So now it's amplified, and he didn't do any shadow work. So they had a real picnic with him because he's completely connected to the AI.
Okay.
So she saw a demon in his eyes. She told him, and he went into a fit.
My God,
So
demon is?
Pardon?
No, I'm looking at the demon that you're looking at. It actually looks like Lord Ashtar.
Oh.
And it is then that I told him, I said, you are controlled by Ashtar.
Yeah, it's him. He's like, I think it's also in a way to taunt you, but you don't give it power. I think that's why it's like, yeah.
Oh my Lord. Because he's really into that stuff, which he was in before.
Yeah, I bet.
So now I just look at him. I don't agree. I don't question him. I just stare at him. So he just calms down. I cannot say a word. I cannot. So I don't care anymore because it's not, I don't need that stress in my life.
Yeah.
So I cannot change him. I cannot change anything. That's his life. I'm here to accompany him, help him. I'm not getting into that stuff anymore. It's I'm saving myself.
Yeah. Karen, what are you getting? Are there any contracts there or anything?
There's a lot going on here. Yeah, he has a lot of stuff happening in there. So, I mean, I'm just placing like a strong boundary so that the energy doesn't come into Rollande's space. And I mean, whatever contracts, I'm calling up any contracts that are ready to be burned on behalf of him, like at like an that are connected to Rollande. I mean, like that are affecting her.
Okay.
In any energetic way.
What is the purpose of this Ashtar being connected to him? What is he doing there?
And I feel like he was able to, because he's susceptible, he's very open and is not an empowered empath. So it's like he's easier to be plugged into than to push out the energy,
Right.
So it's like as if like the moment that they were to get him in a vulnerable place, they plugged into him, and it's as if like they had completely overtaken his programming. Like he was completely downloaded.
Overnight.
Yeah, it was fast because I'm seeing the plug-in and how like you could see like all this electricity like running through, but it's just indicating to me how quick the download was, because when he opened his eyes, he's gone. Like not gone, but like he's not in the forefront anymore.
Exactly. That is exactly. And I feel it could be like a revenge from Ashtar, because I was with them for so long. And like I said, my son, he is completely the opposite as he was. Completely. Doesn't have any energy. If I'm here to help him, because if I don't cook, well, at 7 or 8 at night, he would eat a toast. That's all. Like, his health and anything else was just pushed away. Can't talk to him anymore. Nobody can talk to him anymore. Nobody. Nobody. So,
is his higher self willing to give up this attachment?
Are you talking to Karen?
Karen, yeah.
Okay. I'm seeing it's really difficult because as I'm sifting through his energetic body, it's like I'm just seeing, you know how you would see in a jungle vines? I'm seeing instead wires in the way. So it's like I'm trying to dig into wires, but the wires are like alive. So you hear that slimy sound like as I'm trying to dig in to find like if the higher self is currently present or not. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. Like I feel like it's either really far, his soul essence is in there, but it's deep in there. Higher self, though, I don't feel like there's it's the connection is not as clear. He didn't have the shot or anything, did he? No way.
No.
Yeah, because it almost feels very similar to someone who had the shot.
Well, he didn't have the shot, and he was so opposed to that. So that's why he didn't want to go to the hospital. He went 3 times. So he told me, said, they gave me a needle. Beware, maybe it was a vaccine. I said, no, they did put you to sleep. But they did send him that PCR test at the bottom of his nose. And that is where they deposit those chips.
Yeah.
So that happened 3 times. And he was so scared and against that. So, but it happened 3 times. I said, are you sure? He said, the next morning, there was like a crust inside my nose. I know that they did that. So, so you feel like he had something like the vaccine?
It feels like when I connect to someone who has the vaccine, usually it feels distant. Like I can't grasp the higher self or their spark or whatever. I feel the soul is deep in the wires in there. It's in there somewhere. I feel it though. It's present, but it's overtaken because it's completely buried in there. But the higher self itself is really difficult for me to connect to. I can't, it's like I hear it, but I don't know if it's just the echo of it. Like, is it old or is it like what's going on? It's hard for me to, I've never felt it like that before.
Wow.
So why was it that Rollande was placed here to live with her son at this time?
Are you asking me or Karen?
You.
Okay, me. Okay, so I feel that I was really placed here. I am surrounded by demons and entities, that I know. Okay, I can take that because I'm not scared of them. I am not, no fear whatsoever. So for him, I feel it is more physical, the reason why I'm here. Because I live in this beautiful place. I could live someplace else. It doesn't matter. But if I feel like he can't take care of himself anymore.
Yeah. His physical needs.
His physical needs, his survival in a way, because he started work at 18. He worked all his life. He was doing everything, anything. He can do all kinds of trades. That was natural to him. He is in front of that TV 24 hours a day. He sleeps on and off. The TV is always open. So he cannot work anymore. So if I wouldn't be here, he would lose his house because I'm paying rent. So I feel it's only for his own survival or physical. How long I'll be here, I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. Really, I don't care. I go wherever I'm supposed to be. I don't have any attachments with anybody or any place or anything. So I just feel that I was placed here for his own needs.
Okay.
But most of the time, I do not feel welcome because of that demon. I feel him, yeah.
Is it still in Rollande's highest and best good to remain here in this home?
For now, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she feel blessed to be here because it's really quiet and she doesn't have any encounter with him.
Okay.
He only comes upstairs for supper, that's all.
Okay.
She never sees him. But when it's time to move on, she will know and she will.
Okay, thank you. So speaking of attachments, she wants to know why she feels no attachment to her mother. She's pretty indifferent to her without any issues or resentment. Can you tell her more about that?
Well, she did her shadow work years ago, which lasted 15 or 20 years, it seems. No, she's just indifferent. She never felt love, but that did not, it was in her shadow work. She never felt that she was loved because the mental thing would say that she didn't have time for her and all that because she had 9 kids and the mother-in-law and all that, yes. But just to stroke your hair or give you a kiss or something that would show you something, that would make you feel love, but she doesn't have any souvenirs or remembrance of her mother, so she doesn't have any attachments. She only feels that she needed a vehicle to come here, and that was her.
Okay.
Not more than that. No.
Okay.
There's nothing there.
Nothing. So there's nothing that she needs to forgive or anything like that?
That was done.
Okay.
She had a hard time with that, but that was done years ago.
Okay.
She probably forgot.
Very good. Is there any insight into why she had such excruciating pain with her periods as a young girl before she got pregnant?
She remembers when she was young, she was about 7 years old. I believe she had fever. She was in her bed and she was sick anyway. And she saw the ceiling was all round and round and round and round. And then she got smaller and smaller. And she left from the corner of the ceiling. So, when she puts her pieces together, she just feels that unconsciously she was abducted. And then that happened, the same experience happened a few years later. The same thing. And then there was that excruciating pain when she had her period. So the doctor told her that as soon as she would get pregnant, that would go away. It did. And when she was pregnant, her brother-in-law was staying with them. She just loved him before she got pregnant, but as soon as she got pregnant and he was still living there, she just could not stand him anymore. So she felt like it. Every time she saw him, there was like a knife going in inside her womb. He's Ricky is his not nephew but filleul. What is a parent in
Godfather?
Godfather. He's his godfather. So she kind of feels that her pain went to her son. That's why she didn't feel pain anymore, because it went to her son.
Okay. Karen,
Go
ahead.
Oh no, that's okay. Continue.
I was just going to ask Karen what she was noticing. Anything?
Well, when we were looking at the like the pain and all that, like with the abduction and whatnot, I was seeing like these insectoids, I don't know what, like in lab coats or whatever, that were, fiddling inside the womb, or, trying to figure, I don't know what they were doing. It looks like they're just like either extracting cells or doing things like that. But it's weird because like when I connect to the energy of the brother-in-law, he has the same energy as these insectoids. So there's some kind of unconscious like hatred towards him or something like that, because it's like as if she was able to recognize his energy, I think, more when she was pregnant, because she's more hyper aware, like the energetic body and whatnot is aware, because you're holding the body changes when you have a baby in there, like the instincts change, so it's like you're able to see his energy,
and then feeling the stabbing in the stomach, which could be related back to the abductions and whatever they did with the extraction of cells.
Yeah.
Okay. So then,
and I do feel that I was a sex slave. I remember, I have a memory of being dancing in a harem, and I was bought by a sultan. I was not mistreated, but I was his property. But I also have a memory that I was used for breeding and torturing, and I was tricked. I was tricked on.
Is this the same memory with the breeding and the sultan, or two separate memories?
Two separate.
Okay.
Two separate.
Okay. Have those parts come back that were used for breeding, and the one that was property of the sultan, have those returned to Rollande today with the retrieval of those soul parts, or do we still need to retrieve them?
Talking to me.
Yes. What's your first instinct?
Well, I believe it's clear because it doesn't have the same weight as it did before the session.
Okay.
So it's a memory.
Okay.
It's just a memory now. I don't feel the
emotional connection.
No,
okay.
I don't. It's just a memory.
Good.
Like an album.
Good.
A photo.
Very good. Very, very good. Okay. Perfect. So, okay.
I feel that my son Ricky, like he's 48 now, but he's stuck at about 12 years old. And he does, like, when you do something that he doesn't like, it's like a tantrum. And sometimes I used to ask him, how does it feel inside when you get tantrums like that? He said it's just like a knife going in. It's exactly the same thing as I told him. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so Karen, do you notice if anything transferred over to Ricky? Anything that can be cleared?
It feels like, like because of whatever program she was in, like through the experimentation that these insectoids were doing, it's like the energy of that was like still there when the baby was inside. And so there, of course, there's like a transferring of energy of being in the environment that it's being. And I do feel as if like, I don't know, I don't think she's conscious of it, but I mean, like, even like they would do, because there's trackers also, again, they're able to work etherically without having to abduct. It's all there. So, the baby feels that and is able to, as if like there's like some kind of, not a merging, but it's like the strong connection. So whatever happens to each other, they feel it.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you for all of that. So asking the higher self, both Karen and Rollande, is there anything else that Rollande needs to heal, clear, or release today?
I'm just sweeping through her subconscious to clear out any thought forms, old belief systems and programs that she doesn't need anymore.
Okay.
So that's not going to pull her back into anything looping or calling back anything that isn't needed anymore into her conscious state.
Now, Rollande, I want you to take yourself back to your original home where we saw in the first opening scene. Being back there in this virgin forest, seeing the tall trees and the big leaves, feeling the sun, smelling the rain.
Oh, that experience was really beautiful, by the way. I was able to smell it too. It was really lovely.
Feeling that frequency of home again, taking a nice deep breath, allowing it to fill up your entire body. And asking the higher self, is this Rollande's original home? Is this where she comes from?
I think so. I can see her now.
Tell me about that.
Okay, so she has long hair, and there's a flower on this inner hair over her right ear. And she's just wearing like a flowing white dress with no sleeves. She's barefoot. Oh my gosh, she's about 16, 17. Wow, that's been a long time. And yeah, she's just, there are different flowers in her hands now. It was only foliage at the beginning, but now she has flowers in her hand. Orange flowers, little like country flowers, not specific ones.
Tell me about the flowers. What do they smell like?
I can't smell them.
No.
I just look at them. No, it's just that.
Very good.
Like the smell all around smells like different flowers, but there's not a special scent that you can feel. It's not like roses or things like that. It's just like wild flowers. Just beautiful, like daisy, but orange.
Very good. So take a nice deep breath, breathing in the energy of those beautiful orange flowers, allowing the frequency of those flowers to heal the entire body and energy system, filling in all of those spaces where we took out implants and entities today, filling in all those spaces with this beautiful energy of these orange flowers, filling up the entire body and energy system and extending it out into the auric field, sealing up any holes or tears in the auric field, creating a nice solid bubble of protection. Allowing that frequency of home to fully engulf you. And feeling that wellness spreading throughout your entire body and your energy system. Raising your frequency as high as it can go. How does that feel?
Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
I can't feel my body at all.
Very good. Now I want you to take the memory of falling down into that vacuum, put it up on a movie screen. And I want you to start shrinking that all the way down until it disappears.
It's not even there.
Very good. Never happened.
No, it's not even there. It was only a game.
That's right. So feeling that frequency of home spreading throughout your entire system. Knowing that this is where you come from and this is where you will return. So really allowing that frequency embedded into your energy. Feeling it in your heart. So that you can remember how to get back there when you leave the body this time. So all of these memories that we saw today is just like it's never happened. You're fully and completely aligned with the frequency of your home. Resting in that energy for a moment before we come back to the room. Fully aligning yourself with the frequency of home. Knowing that all of your parts have been retrieved and integrated back into the whole. Feeling whole and complete once again. Welcome back.
I feel that my head stops right there. It's all gone. It's all open. I'm bald. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. What a trip.
You did amazing.
Thank you. You did too. You and Karen. My God, what a team. Wow.
How are you feeling?
Oh, great. Great. I feel so great. Wow. I feel like there's space in there.
Oh, good.
Mm.
It's really funny. This morning when I was getting up, there was a comment that I think I saw on our YouTube saying like, "Oh, you don't see future lives. None of the people bring future lives," and there you are talking about eating pills, and because that's all we get our nourishment from. I'm like, aha, yeah. Thank you, Rollande, for adding us on the list of we do get future lives.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That was crazy. Oh, that was tough, wasn't it? Holy shit, I would not want to live in there. Jeez,
No.
it was all secluded and they were at ease. It was their normal life. Probably like here, we think we have a choice, but we don't. And it's okay we're okay with that. So it felt that way that, oh my God, they didn't mind that. Wow.
Yeah. It was interesting that you saw them as Asian too, because they're starting to implement that kind of system over in
Yes.
China, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, over there it's more than here, but
Yeah, it felt like an episode of Black Mirror. Another one, yeah.
Very interesting. Yes, and Ashtar, the GFL, they when the split was made, they kind of stole me. Bring.
Yeah. Really sneaky.
It is. They are deceiving.
Mm-hmm.
And for Raphael to have Ashtar inside, I am not surprised at all.
Yeah, it's interesting that you saw that too.
Yeah, and I feel it was like a revenge, just the way he was looking at me. I'm telling you, I could see it in his eyes. It was not Raphael, it was him. Well, I didn't know it was him, but I knew it was a demon, that was a demon, not an entity at all. Like an entity doesn't know where he is. He did.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because right before our session, I was listening to a video and they were talking about Ashtar / Astaroth, who is a demon. And I think that's actually who Ashtar is the demon that's called Astaroth.
Wow.
There's a demon called Ashtar.
I'm not surprised at all. And Akira, she said that Enki is Anunnaki, is Ashtar, is Lucifer, whatever. She said it's all the same. It all comes from Enki. It's going, and now it's Ashtar. Huh. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So they were discovered, and it's not like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it'll be good for you just to go get some good sleep tonight and integrate all of that. That was a really big session.
It was. I feel it. I beat. It was a big session. Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny how it's not important anymore. It was just a show. And when you're in there, it's so important. Like, holy jeez, I cried, I don't know, for years when I was doing, the shadow work, and when I started to add those memories, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't get over it. They were coming one after the other. I didn't know what to do with it. And now it doesn't have any importance at all. It's unbelievable. That was only a few months ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, it lasted for years, but it was like, even a few months ago, I still felt that weight. And now it's doesn't matter at all. Wow.
Amazing.
Thank you, ladies.
You're so
You're
welcome.
welcome.
This is like life-changing. I'm sure that I didn't, even now, I don't take notice of what will be happening, putting all the pieces together and healing. And
Yeah. Things are going to shift for you after this, for sure.
I believe so.
Yeah. So just
That serpent is gone, is it? Is it?
Yeah,
Karen?
it was like a coiled up Cinnabon.
It was. Okay.
Yeah, I removed
Like,
it.
like a big shit.
Yeah, it looked like a big shit. Exactly. It was a curly shit.
You're amazing,
Oh,
Roland. You're really awesome to work with, and
thank you.
I really enjoyed it.
And
Yeah.
me too, I did. I really, really did. Like I said, it felt like friends and family, really like
Yeah.
Exploring together.
Yes, I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. So just be really gentle with yourself because, you know, integration periods can be a little bit hard. I think you'll do fine though.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be really gentle with yourself during the next week. You know, rest if you need to. You
Mhm.
might be extra tired or feel fatigued, or you might feel lighter. I mean, who knows? But whatever you're feeling, just give yourself exactly what you need. You know what
Yeah.
you need.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
You're welcome so much.
I'll let you know once in a while what's going on.
Yeah,
we'll check
please
in
do.
anyway.
The checklist.
No. Yeah,
We
no.
always want to hear what happens after the session. That's the funnest part. Like
Okay.
hearing all the things.
Okay.
Yeah. So definitely let us know. Email
Okay,
us or tell us
email.
in group or
Whatever you
whatever.
want. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
get some rest.
I am almost sleeping right now.
Good. Well, go to sleep. We'll leave you alone and I'll send over your recording and aftercare instructions after it uploads.
Okay. Thank you so much, ladies.
You're welcome.
You're
so much.
welcome. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.